Everyone, it's the Reviewing Hoovie in here. Today I'm going to be talking about this story, shall we say. In my honest opinion, it was not good. I'm sorry to say. In my honest opinion, I just did not like this story. It wasn't great. I'm going to be talking about what I think of this story. I'm going to be running through a few things with you today. So hope you enjoy this review. Firstly, I'd like to talk about our main protagonist, Tom Baker. Yay! No, not in this story. Not in this story. He was just so out of character in this story. It's such a shame. He was. I felt this dampened the character of the Fourth Doctor. It just did not seem like him at all. He felt so out of character. There was a scene where he was threatening the main villain Kelman's life. He was saying something along the lines of, "Oh, you've got 10 seconds to live, 15 seconds to live." And he gave them this big smirk, this grin. And it just felt so out of context for him. It felt, no, that's not Tom Baker. What are you on about here? There was another scene where they realised the Cybermen were trying to come on board in their wee space shuttle. Tom Baker ran to the hatchway to try and lock it, and you see him trying to lock it, but then he just runs away. He runs away with the crew left behind him. He left the crew to die without zero warning, and then the Cybermen came through, and then you just see them get shot. It is revealed in the next story that they were only knocked out, but however, the Doctor had no way of knowing that. He ran away, left them to die. Now it's not right. The writers behind this story, they didn't get the consistency of it. That's what I'm trying to say, the consistency of it. Yeah, Tom Baker in this story, he didn't do it for me like he usually does. He really doesn't. It wasn't great. I'm sorry to say. Now I'd like to speak about the main antagonist, the Cybermen now, who look, to be fair, quite good. They do. They look quite good. They had some really nice shots of them walking down the corridor, of them stepping over the bodies. I really like that. I like the main leader, the leader of the Cybermen, the black helmet. That done really good to distinguish him as a leader. The only problem was that the Cybermen, okay, they look good, but everything else, no. No. They gave them emotions. I felt they gave them emotions with the pride and the anger. Oh my God, the anger. The leader, he just seemed like he was getting angry all the time, and that completely just puts the Cybermen. They didn't get them. The writers did not get the Cybermen and what they stand for. Cybermen are supposed to be emotionless, and in this story, they're not. They're really not. They show anger. They show pride. They show positivity, and it just doesn't feel like right. They don't sound right either. They sound a bit off to me. Yeah, that wasn't great. They weren't great at all. It was a real shame because the Cybermen could have been great in this story if they were giving the right sort of plot. It just wasn't great. Really wasn't great at all. Now, speaking of the bodies in the corridor, yeah, if you look really closely, you can clearly see that they're mannequins. You can see the shiny head on them, what have you. Now, fair enough, this was made in the 70s. I'll give it that. However, you'd think they'd have enough budget, the BBC. They'd think they'd have enough budget because they used the same set twice in the same season. Season 12, they used the same set as the Ark in Space. They used the same set in this. So you'd think they'd have a little bit of budget to put... Anyway, I'm going to start a rant in a minute. So I think I'm going to move on a little bit here. I'd like to talk about the Vogons now. Now, sorry to say, I'm sorry to sound so negative, but they didn't do it for me at all. They looked ugly as all hell. They looked crappy. They just did not look nice. They were boring as well. And to put someone like Kevin Stoney as the main protagonist of these Guardians, that's what they were called. The Guardians were called Vogons. Don't ask. Just don't ask. It wasn't explained very well. But the main protagonist is played by Kevin Stoney. Kevin Stoney. God, that would have been fun. But anyway, Kevin Stoney who played the main antagonist in 1968 story The Invasion with Patrick Troughton, which also featured the Cybermen. He was fantastic in that. He was a great antagonist, but in this, oh, he was just wasted. He really was. He was just so wasted. It was such a shame for such an amazing actor to take on that. He was just wasted. It did not look good. It did not sound good. Yeah, these Vogons, they just did not do it for me. They looked ugly, and every time they were on, I got bored. Literally, every time they were on, I was looking at my phone or just focusing on something else. I wanted to see the crappy emotional Cybermen when the Vogons came on, let me tell you. Just weren't that great. Now, now then, I'd like to talk about the season itself of this serial, this story. It's a real shame because this was a great season. This was just a low point. It was just such a low point for season 12. You had Robot, which was Tom Baker's first story, a good story, all in all. Ark in Space, which was freaking fantastic. Then after that, you had the Sontaran Experiment, an underrated story of season 12 in my eyes. Genesis of the Daleks, which I've talked about. And it just ends on a whimper. It really does. The ending to this story, it just did not do it for me. It was so rushed. It was pretty much them just getting in the TARDIS. Them getting in the TARDIS without so much of a goodbye to the Vogons who helped them defeat the Cybermen. How they defeated the Cybermen? They blew them up. It was also revealed in this story that the Cybermen's weaknesses were gold, by the way. But they never used gold to defeat the Cybermen. Oh no, what's the point in even discussing that? What's the point in even bringing that up in the first place if they don't use freaking gold? Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up there before I go into full rant mode. This story was not good for this season. It really wasn't. But anyway, I'm the Reviewing Whovian, and I'll see you next time.